Hello everybody, 2007 Toyota Camry, and this is a hybrid one. We are planning, okay, so this is 2.4 liter. I'm changing on this today is the water pump here, and what I want to make sure, I will disconnect all the batteries before I do any service on this guy. So to do the water pump, you're going to need to remove the tensioner and the pulley for the water pump itself has 4 bolts in the front. We're going to need to remove those 4 bolts, take the pulley out, because the pulley will cover some of these bolts behind. This water pump is installed like this on the car, so you could see all the bolts that are at the lower section are covered by the pulley, and we do have to remove the pulley before servicing this. So I got a new water pump, I'm going to change that. Let's get to work. I'm going to start by taking out these bolts, or getting them loose at least, for this pulley for the water pump. Once I get them loose, let's take out the tensioner. I just got the belt off the tensioner. So we're going to take the 10mm bolt here, take this cover off, there's another one here, and then I'll get access to that bolt and the one at the bottom to slide the tensioner out. Right. There we go. 2 10s. Pulling out, exposing the tensioner. So I got this bolt and that bolt already disconnected. You can see the tensioner is kind of loose. To get this guy out of its place, we do need to pry it. So I would do a pry bar here. Lift it up. There we go. We got some room. So a pry bar behind and slowly out. Alright, there is our tensioner with the mounting brackets out. Now we have clear view of the water pump, and as you can see, water pump has wires going through it. The big benefit of loosening these bolts prior to removing the belt is that once you get the tensioner out of the way, you get to these bolts by hand. So I'm going to go ahead and remove all these bolts. And get the pulley of the water pump out. This last bolt here. Perfect. They're not really long bolts, they're very short. Pull the pulley off. There you go. Now we have a clear view of the 10mm bolts of the water pump. So we're going to open all these 10mm, make sure the crank position sensor, crank angle sensor, whatever you call this guy, gets disconnected and put out of the way so we don't break any wires. This car has over 200,000 miles, so most of the wires that go under heat could be extremely brittle, so handle it with care. There's not really long bolts. Perfect. Alright, some of these guys are not easy to access, so this wire here has a small clip underneath here holding the cable in place. I'm going to try to disconnect that clip. I'm going to get that clip out of the way so we can move the wires out. Here we go. Now we get access to the bottom 10mm. I'm gonna try this little one. Come on, something's gotta work, you know? There we go. Got a good grip on it. Right. This one is a difficult one actually. So I use this setup here, it's 10 millimeter. It's small enough room to go underneath the pulley, and that was the bolt in there. Looks like the coolant was probably leaking on it. Let's go to the last one, all the way at the bottom of it. Let's see if we can get to you, man. Ah, good. This one was easy. There we go. Perfect. Now, even if you have drained the engine coolant by opening the radiator drain plug, you're still going to have the engine coolant come out of here. So once you open this, you're going to have a whole bunch of coolant flowing through. If the water pump does not come out by hand, there's a little pry area right here. You can put your pry bar like so. Pry it out. Let's check it out. Pull the water pump off. Perfect. Right, my dear friends. There we go. And this is terrible. Here's the water pump and the gasket. You can see the big gasket was not doing so well. The next step is to clean the entire surface. Take out all the garbage from it. When it comes to connecting the water pump, just to make sure you don't have a huge mess in your hands, what I would do is I would disconnect this sensor. Yeah. There we go. Right there. Take it out. And I will completely run this wire out of. Right now, we're just going to guide the pump, put it onto the stud. Put the top bolt on. Right there. Alright. I'm just holding these. Using these to hold the water pump in place while I fasten everything else. And then I'll have to take these out and install the crank sensor sleeve back in there. Alright. I'm going to tighten all the bolts and I'll be back. So, I got all the other bolts holding the water pump in place. While it's happening, I'm going to go ahead and install our crank sensor cable holder right here. The cable in place. Put you where you're supposed to go. Nicely, like that. There you go. Let's see if the cable sits in. Yep, perfect. And after this, I can start torquing all the bolts down. And then we're going to plug the sensor. Next, we're going to connect the pulley. Here you go. You're going to tighten all the pulleys, bolts on, hand tighten them. What we do is once we get the belt back on, then I can tighten the belt and retorque these bolts down. Now let's install our tensioner back on there. Right. Here's the upper bolt for the tensioner. I just have to find a way to guide it. There we go. And here is the lower bolt for the tensioner. You have to move the tensioner around just a little for the threads to line up. Let's install the belt. So right there, oh snap, slipped again. This is the toughest part, to get the belt lining up because it keeps coming off the pulleys, and it took me a little bit. I got the belt lined up where it's supposed to be on the crank, water pump, and the little idler pulley back there. So, cover for the tensioner, put two 10mm bolts right here. Guys. There you have it. This is what it takes to replace a water pump onto a Toyota Camry 2006 Hybrid 2.4 liter. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. See you in the next video. Please like and subscribe. Take care.